weird story with you. Honestly, you never know what you might find lurking in your house. I come from a wealthy family. My dad's a super successful businessman, and we live in this epically massive house. I swear, I find a new room at least once a year. Last year, my little sister and I were playing hide and seek, and I couldn't find her anywhere. Turns out, she was hiding in Dad's secret man cave, which I didn't even know existed. So, it's fair to say our house is full of surprises. Anyway, I was babysitting my sister this one time, and she wanted to teach me this silly dance routine she'd learned. We were in Dad's study, which, if he'd known about, he would have gone mental. There was this one part of the dance where we had to jump in the air and wiggle our bums. I was laughing so hard when we did it that I fell. Suddenly, I was crashing into one of the bookcases, and I was sure all the books were going to topple down on top of me. But instead, something insane happened. The wall moved. Oh my God! My dad had a secret bookcase door. I couldn't believe it. I pushed the wall further, and that's when I realized there was a staircase leading down. My sister gasped, and I was suddenly scared. I told her she had to go to bed, and that if we went down there, Dad would ground us forever. I then quickly tucked my sister into her bed and read her a bedtime story. She kept asking about the secret stairway, and I told her we could ask Dad the next morning at breakfast. But as if I could wait until then. As soon as my sister was asleep, I ran back to Dad's study, pushed open the bookcase, and using my phone as a flashlight, I made my way down the stairs. I was really scared. What could be down here, I wondered. I crept down the stairs quietly, and then I heard something. It was a scurrying sound, like mice, but then the door at the bottom started opening, and I heard a voice. "Son, what are you doing here? You know not to come at night. What if you get caught?" I screamed. There was a woman standing there, and she had long, white, greasy hair. At first, I thought she was a ghost, so I ran back up the stairs. Please don't call the cops," she screamed after me. Who are you?" I stuttered. Suddenly, the woman started crying. I felt bad leaving her there, so I walked back down the stairs towards her. She was shaking and asked me if she could explain. I was in so much shock, I just flopped down onto the bottom step and let her tell me why on earth she was living in a secret basement in our house. She told me she'd been living here for years and that it was all because of her son. Her and her husband used to own this house, but then her husband died. Their son got into a lot of debt from gambling, and he became so desperate for money. They could no longer afford the house, and he sold it. Soon, he was in a lot of trouble because the money from the house was still not enough to cover all his debts, and there were bad people after him. The only way out of this was for her to fake her death so she could help her son by letting him use her life insurance. Luckily, her husband had built this secret basement in case they ever had an emergency and needed shelter. So, just before the son handed the house over to my family, she came down into the basement to hide. There's another way leading to the basement from the back garden. Every week when me and my family go to church, the son sneaks back into the back garden to bring food and water and take out her trash. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I just sat there, my mouth hanging wide open. I remembered the son. My dad had been a bit suspicious about him, as he seemed too young to be selling such a big, expensive house. And come to think of it, I saw him a few times before. One time I forgot my coat and we drove back to the house, and as I was running to the door, I saw something dive into a bush. At the time, I thought it had been a big cat or something, but now I knew for sure that it had been her son. I told her she couldn't keep living down here, that it was dangerous, not to mention illegal. But she begged me not to tell my parents. She said her son would hurt her if he found out we knew, and that he'd gone a bit insane and was now living in some dilapidated warehouse, doing odd jobs in a scrapyard. I told her I wouldn't tell my parents, but that I would find a way to bring her extra food and water during the week. Then I quickly left her and hurried upstairs to bed. I couldn't sleep that night, and as soon as I heard my parents coming home, I ran to their room. I told them everything, and my mom almost fainted from shock. Dad said that we should wait until the next morning to catch him. Luckily, it was also Sunday and we had church. When we came back, I was nervous the sun wouldn't have come, but oh my God, we captured him perfectly. Straight away, my dad called the cops, and I kept apologizing to the woman as she got taken out of our house. Last I heard, the son is now in prison, and the woman is still awaiting her court case. She is likely to face imprisonment for faking her own death. I feel a bit guilty, but also, it's not okay to hide in someone's house like that. What if the son went crazy and hurt my family? Thank God for that silly dance leading us to find the secret basement. Do you think I did the right thing? I really hope so. I just wanted to protect my family.